Another relevant one here, don't forget we have the two together. They say simple interest and compound interest. We are done with the simple interest aspect. Let's now look at the other aspect of it called compound interest. Compound interest. It has been discussed and understood in simple interest that, let me just put this down. It has been discussed and understood in simple interest that interest is calculated and paid at the end of each year, and the principal, that is the amount lent or borrowed, does not change. Under compound interest, the interest is not paid. The interest is not paid to the lender. Instead, it is added to the principal at the end of the time. Which could be yearly, half year, quarterly, and so on. Then the principal will definitely increase. That is, it will change at the end of each time. Let me go to next page. At the end of each time, which makes the successive interest, higher. To find compound interest, the principal at the end of each year must be calculated on a systematic basis. Must be calculated on a systematic basis. This is what we are saying here. In order to find the compound interest, okay, illustration. In order to get the compound interest for certain amount of money, we firstly get our simple interest. Simple interest giving us P times R times T over 100. Don't forget, that is formula for simple interest. And as a matter of fact, if we are to compound, or if we are to, if we are to look at the compound interest is more advanced than simple interest. In the case of simple interest, the interest is paid. But in the case of compound interest, the interest is not paid to the lender. Rather, it is added to the principal at the end of the agreed time. Let me just give us an illustration. Let me give an illustration. Let me just give an illustration. We have agreed that this is formula for simple interest. Let's say we are to compound, or we are to calculate compound interest. We are to calculate compound interest of a certain amount of money in 5 years. I'm giving us an instance. Let's say we are to calculate the compound interest of certain amount of money, at certain interest rates for 5 years, or in 5 years. This is what it will look like. So for the first year, we have our simple interest as what? P times R times T over 100. We will get it. We'll get the simple interest for that. We'll get certain value for it. So for second year now, whatever we got here is for the simple interest for first year. But meanwhile, second year, our principal will change, like I told us. Principal will now be what? Will now be our old principal. Okay, let's say principal in year 2 will now be principal in year 1 plus what? The simple interest gotten. This is what will be changing here is that of what? Is that of the principal. It's only principal that will be changing. Only principal will be changing. So we can then say our simple interest for that particular year, simple interest will now be what? That will be P2 times R times T over 100. That is that. So for third year, I have my P3 will be equals to what? P2 plus simple interest in year 2. Let me say this one is simple interest in year 1. So this is P3 is what? Principal in year 3 is equals to what? Principal in year 2 plus simple interest in year 2. So I can then say my simple interest will now be what? Principal in year 3 times rate times time over 100. I will get the value. So what I mean here is that it's only the principal that will be changing. Other variables like rate and time will not be changing. So likewise, fourth year, P4, principal in year 4 will give me what? Principal in year what? Year 3 plus simple interest in year 3. I can then say my simple interest will be what? Principal in year 4 times R times T over 100. That will give me that. Then fifth year, principal in year 5 will now give me principal in year 4 plus simple interest in year 4. So I can compute my simple interest for 50 years. Principal in year 5 times what? Rate, which is constant, and time is constant, over what? Over 100. So that will give me what? Simple interest. And to now get the compound interest for year 5, I will get my final amount. How do I get my final amount? That will be what? Principal in year 5 plus what? Simple interest in year 5. That will give me the amount. With this illustration we have actually done now, I want to believe that any question or any problem that is given, we should be able to tackle it based on the formula and the approach we have actually given us as far as simple interest and compound interest is concerned. Or better still, I can give us a particular question in order to demonstrate what we have, given or done so far. So let's try to look at one particular example or question in order to demonstrate what we have said as far as compound interest is concerned. The question says, find the compound interest on 650 in 5 years at 4% per annum. Find the compound interest on 650 in 5 years at 4% per annum. So let's, as usual, get our parameters, our SI, our P, our R, and T. So our simple interest is not given. We have to get simple. Actually, we are trying to get our compound interest. But before we can get compound interest, we must firstly get our simple interest. Then principal is 650. Rate T is 5 years. The rate is what? 4%. Have you got this information? My first year simple interest is P times R times T over 100. Our simple interest for that will give me 6,500 times, my rate is 4, then time will be 1. That is first year over 100. So simple interest for that first year will give me 26. So second year now, like I told us in the formula, second year principal will now be what? 650 plus 26, and this is 676. This is our new principal. So simple interest will now give us P times R times T over 100, and this will give us 676 times 4 times 1 over 100. That is 27.04. That's simple interest for year 2. So third year, my principal, don't forget, my P will give me what? 676 plus 27.04. So P is equals to what? 703.04. So for that purpose, I can get my SI to be P times R times T over 100. That will be 703.04 times 4 times 1. All those ones are very constant, like I told us, over 100. This will give us 28.12. So this can take me to my fourth year. Fourth year, my real principal then will now be what? 703.04 plus 28.12. And that will be what? 731.16. So simple interest at that year will be what? P times R times T over 100. And that's what? 731.16 times 4 times 1 over 100. And this will be equals to what? 29.25. This can take me to my fifth year. Don't forget, total number of years given is 5. My fifth year, principal will now give me what? What did I get there? Principal will now give me 731.16, 731.16 plus 29.25. So that will give us what? 760.41. So at that fifth year, simple interest is P times R times T over 100. And that's 760.41 times 4 times 1 over 100. This will automatically give me 30.42. 30.42. So since we have 5 years and we have calculated for 5 years, I can easily get my final amount together. That will give me what? P5 plus what? Simple interest of 5 years. And that because what? 760.41 plus 30.42. This is 790.83. That's for the final amount. But recall, original amount is equals to 650. So when I remove final amount from original amount, the rebalance is what we call compound interest. So compound interest is equals to final amount minus original amount. So compound interest will now give us, our final amount is what? 790.83 minus original amount, which is 650. Therefore, compound interest is equals to 140.83. That's our compound interest. That's a simple definition and analysis or computation with respect to simple interest and compound interest.